Some people lose money, some lose time, some lose love. What the most dangerous loss is invisible. It happens quietly, the moment you start telling the world everything about yourself. The moment you believe honesty without boundaries is a virtue. No one warns you that being too open has a cost. Because openness feels like freedom at first. It feels like relief, like finally setting something down you have been carrying alone. And this is how the story begins. Not with betrayal, not with regret, but with comfort. He was the kind of person people described as real, transparent, easy to talk to, the one who shared his plans before they were built, his fears before they were tested, his dreams before they were protected. He believed openness created connection. That trust was formed by revealing everything. So he spoke freely about his goals, his struggles, his insecurities, his next move, his doubts, his hopes. He said things like, "I'm just being honest. I don't want secrets." And people nodded, smiled, leaned in, because openness is attractive when it costs nothing to receive it. And at first, it worked. Conversations felt deep, bonds felt fast. He felt seen, understood, lighter. But what he didn't notice was how information never disappears once released. It doesn't sit quietly where he places it. It travels, it changes shape, it lands in hands you didn't choose. Some people listened out of care, others out of curiosity, some out of comparison, some out of quiet competition, and some simply remembered more than they needed to. He shared an idea he was excited about. Someone said, "That's brilliant." Weeks later, the same idea appeared elsewhere with different words in a different face. He shared his doubts about a relationship. Someone nodded sympathetically. Later, those doubts returned to him reshaped, sharpened, repeated at the worst moment. He shared his weaknesses thinking vulnerability would protect him. But vulnerability without boundaries is not armor. It is a map, and maps are useful to anyone holding them. Slowly, suddenly, things began to shift. Conversations felt slightly different. Advice came unasked. Opinions arrived early. Expectations formed arrived worded he had spoken casually. People referenced things he wished he had kept private, used them to define him, limit him, predict him. He started noticing that people responded not to who he was becoming, but to who he had already experienced himself to be. The version of thing that existed in their memory, frozen by too much information. He felt strangely trapped by his own honesty, like he had narrated his life so blindly he no longer had peace to change direction pointedly. And the cost became clear when he failed, because failure hits harder when everyone knows what you were trying to build, when everyone knows what you promised yourself, when everyone's watching. Some offered comfort, others offered silence, some offered judgment disguised this concern. And he realized something painful. People don't always use what he shared to support you. They use it to position themselves around you, to feel ahead, behind, better, safer. He noticed how his openness invited commentary into moments that required solitude. How every setback felt public even when it wasn't meant to be. How every private emotion became discussion once it left him off. And then came the moment that changed him. A quiet one, not dramatic, not loud, just a realization that right late one evening, he was seeing no moan, requiring conversations, remembering how often he had spread himself, justified himself, revealed himself. And he asked a question he had never asked before. Who is this helping? And the answer was not comforting. It wasn't always him. He understood then that privacy is not secrecy. That silence is not dishonesty. That boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They allow warmth in without letting everything spill out. He began to see how some of the most grounded people he admired shared very little. Not because they were close, but because they were intentional. They moved quietly, let results speak, protected their becoming. He realized that not everyone who listens deserves the whole story. Not every curiosity needs an answer. Not every truth needs an audience. So he changed, slowly, deliberately. He stopped announcing his plans. He stopped explaining his feelings to those who had not heard them. He learned to sit with knots before releasing them, to test trust over time, to let actions replace declarations. And something surprising happened. His life grew calmer, decisions felt lighter, progress felt safer, failures felt manageable. He regained ownership of his own narrative. People knew less, but respected more. Connections became fewer but stronger. And the most important shift happened inside him. He no longer needed validation to disclosure. He no longer felt guilty for holding parts of himself close. He understood that openness is powerful only when paired with wisdom. Because being too open doesn't make you authentic. It makes you exposed, and exposure without intention invites costs you don't see until you've paid them. The cost of being too open is not that people know you. It's that they know you before you know yourself. Before you finish growing, before you decide who you want to be. So if you are someone who shares easily, who explains deeply, who believes honesty means full access, pause, not because openness is wrong, but because it deserves care. Let some things mature in silence. Let some dreams grow roots before sunlight. Let some truths remain yours until they are strong enough to stand on their own. Because the most powerful form of honesty is not telling everything. It is choosing what to protect and knowing why.